All right, Jen, Heather, it's all you.
Heather, do you want to talk first or do you want me to?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. I guess basically on this call to let you guys know, we actually Heather brought it to our team. In her region, they have a leadership group, and there's some coaches out there that started the script. It's just kind of a cold market script, and I was petrified of cold market scripts, and just even talking to random people, which I don't know how I've made it this far without doing it, but I've been very lucky that events have worked for me. But I started running to where I was struggling, and Heather brought this to our team and said it was working really well for this few coaches. And what it is it's basically a script that you go through and you just copy paste and send it to people. And there is a follow-up that you do within, there's a 24-hour follow-up, everything. So it's literally step by step what to do. It like takes out all that uncomfortable, like, oh, what do I say next? What do I do next? Kind of panicky feeling. This is exactly what I do. I'm a paper and pen person. I know there's lots of people that are like, love technology and love to have all these Google documents and sheets. And it gives me a headache. And I like to do pen and paper. So what I did is I printed out my friends list, and I don't know if any of you know how to do that. And if you don't, you just go into your Facebook, and on your Facebook, I can actually, let me see if I can screen share here with you real quick. It's not my desktop. Okay, tell me if you guys can see.
Yes.
My Facebook. Can you see that?
Yes.
So let me move this over. Okay, so you'll click on this little arrow up here in the corner, and you'll click on, and once you get into your settings, there'll be a download a copy of your Facebook data. This will be everything. So it'll go to your email, and it'll be like all your photo, comments. I'm just crazy amount of stuff. So, and my audio is leaving. So I'm going to get back out of the screen share because I know it does that.
Yeah, our connection is not fantastic. Are you still there?
Okay, sorry. Everybody. So, okay, so you go into your settings and you'll download all of that information. And so then what I did is I copied it and I put it into an Excel file. So then it sorts it out as your friends, removed friends, friend requests, and there's something else. And so what I did is I went in and I got all of my friends and I printed them all out. I put them into alphabetical order. It only goes by first name. Am I speaking too fast? So sorry. I speak very, very fast. So thank you. So when I printed it out, I did it in alphabetical order. So they're all, A through Z with their first name. So I have a huge binder. Again, I'm paper and pen. So it's this huge binder. So I printed it out and I went through, and I know there's going to be people that say, Jen, don't do this, but this is what's comfortable for me. I went through and I crossed out all guys, and I know people are going to say, why did you cross out guys? I just don't relate to them. I have tried. I have coaches on my team that are men that I get along with really well because they're already on my team. But to help them physically and fitness-wise, I just don't understand. They can lose weight really easy, and they can, it's different than me. So I relate to women better. So that's what works for me. I went through and I also took out all Beachbody coaches. I have done that a lot where I've messaged a body coach and you're like, oh, whoops. But it's someone that doesn't appear as a Beachbody coach on their page. So that's where I just actually tell them, hey, if you're working the business, here's a suggestion. So I kind of turn it into a ooh, let me help you out kind of thing, so I don't feel like such a boob. Okay.
Coaches, this is Brandy Lee here. Today we are going to do.
Oh, is there somebody on there? Okay. Okay. So then I made my own little tracking thing. What I do is when I go through and I've crossed out all of those people, I will, start from the top and I message that person the cold invite. And I'm going to try to screen share again. I hope to God it doesn't kick me off again.
Can you post the link to it in the chat, Jen?
Yeah, just give me just a second. Let me grab the link. Good thinking, Heather. Okay, this is the actual script. Then I'm going to grab what I do. Okay, I actually have both of these up on my screen, like at all times. So I have them right next to each other so I can go through and do them. If you can open them up, if you can't, you can look at it when you get off of the call. Okay, so when you open up the follow-up series, so that first invite it just says, hey, how are you? I really hope you don't mind me messaging you about something like this. I don't know if this would even interest you, but I am running an online fitness boot camp at the end of the month to help someone really stick to their health and fitness for the year. Self-love and taking care of your wellness is important, and that will be our focus. I already have a bunch of people on board, but I want it to be a blowout. If I gave you details to read over, would you be willing to check it out and see if it'd be a good fit? And so I send that to just any person. I don't prejudge them. And I will tell you, my points last month came from people that I have been too scared to message. And that is what surprised me. Those are the people I've been avoiding for 4.5 years of being a coach. And those are the people that jumped at it like really fast. So they're, oh, I follow you. And oh goodness, this would be so much fun. And of course I have to play it up like, yeah, I'm just now messaging you. And, I can't believe I missed out. So I created my own tracking form. So I write them down on here, and I am a color-coded person. So I like my little highlighters. So I write the person down, what date I contacted them. And in the follow-up, it will tell you in 24 hours at the very end of, okay, let me back up just a second. So when they say, yes, I want to read, what you have for me. So then you get their email address. You say, great, can I have your email address? And I'll send you the information. And you get their email address. Some people will be weird about their email address, and then I just copy and paste it into Facebook, but I forewarn them how long it is. It does feel like a ton of information, and it's going to freak you out just like it did when Heather first sent it to me. I'm like, are you sure I'm supposed to send all of this? And she basically told me to suck it up and just do it. And so I'm really glad I listened. And so you get their email address, you email them, and then you keep track of who you've emailed. And the next day, 24 hours, I usually wait until nighttime because my boys go to bed at 8. I lay in bed and I message back all the people. And it's a really quick little blurb of, hey, does this all make sense? Do you have any questions for me? So that's your little follow-up there. Everything beyond that email that you send moves back to Messenger. So then you can see if they've seen it. I try not to bug people if they don't get back to me, within the next day after I've sent that little blurb to them. I wait another couple days, and maybe by the end of the week, depending on what day I message them, I will message them a little, hey, I didn't know if you got my message. Facebook is weird. I try to somehow, let them know the date of the challenge starting, just a reminder that I would really love them in there, remind them of their goals that they may have told me already. So sometimes people just forget, like you open up your messenger and you just forget. Like I get tons of messages of it. Oh, I'll get back to them. It's, and I forget to make it look like it's unread from my phone. So then I just, as I went through, and if people say no right away, I cross them off my list. I know some people say, oh, it's no, not right now. But sometimes people are just very honest with you and say, no, I'm just really not interested. I also move people from this list based on my little color coding I do. I move them to a follow-up, to an email sent, and then an order page. And whether they're ordering as a coach, discount coach, or as a challenger. And in that follow-up, okay, so after the email, and let's say the person comes back with, hey, I could totally do that. I've had people say, how do I order? Like within, right after that I sent the email, and I'm like, oh, you can read really fast. And I get really excited about those people. So I say to them, okay, before you order, I have 2 options for you, and I'd love to know which one best fits you. And in the script, if you go all the way to the bottom, it will say at the very bottom, the options, and it's a really cute little way of saying it when it's not salesy. It's just saying, hey, this is a really good option. You can get a discount. I myself had 7 coaches sign up in February, but we had 24 for our team.
Why can't I hear
that
anybody?
signed up.
Oh, but I don't know if my line's muted.
No, it's not.
Number one, dial in or audio?
I did the first call in using audio.
I'll do this right. Can you mute, Christy?
I'm trying. I don't know who it is. I'm trying to figure out who it is.
I think it's Melissa. It sounds like her. It's a call-in.
Some of the call-ins don't have mute, which is weird. Like I don't have the option of muting.
You're muted.
If you just actually click on the screens, sometimes it's right click and then sometimes it's left click.
I'm trying. Okay.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll just keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Just try.
Okay, so at the very end of it, it has the options. And a lot of people will say, no, I'm fine just being a challenger. But a lot of people I've had come back saying, no, option number 1 is good because, I'm really focused on losing weight before the summer. And whether they stay on as a coach, that's up to them. But as you remember, Christy, when we were there, Sarah Molnar said, she offers the coaching opportunity to everybody. Because honestly, I have had people that signed up as discount coaches and then decide, well, they're in my coach group, so they're seeing what people are doing, and then they want to know more about the business.
Mm-hmm.
A girl, I'm pretty sure she's on the call tonight, and she's in my downline, not my personally sponsored coach, but she's under a personally sponsored coach, and she was all discount at first, and now she's one of our, our top coaches on the team that's, bringing in people, hitting Success Club, which is crazy. So it does happen. So I offer that to everybody, and I just track it. And that is what our team is doing. We've shown them the script, and they're literally following it to a T. Some people tweak it a little bit. I know one of the coaches, Nikki, on our team, she showed me what she says, and she just gets something from their Facebook to throw in. And then they just, she kind of makes it a little bit personal, maybe throw in something about herself, excited about the spring coming because Wisconsin sucks right now. And it's just cold and yucky here. So everybody's moods are really suck. Okay. So I'm just going to look here real quick. I know somebody just popped up a question. So Brady Woodson wanted to know in Messenger or email them back via email. Brandy, when I send the email, that's the only time I use email. Everything else moves back to Messenger because I want to make sure that they've seen it. So when I send the email to them, I actually email or message them on Facebook. I'll put, hey, a message or your email was sent. It'll be coming from Jen at jenkellyfitness.com. Let me know if you don't see it. You may have to check your junk folder, something just to kind of let them know that the email has been sent. It's coming. And they always say, okay, got it, or something if I don't hear anything. But everything else moves back to Messenger because then that way you can really see if they've seen it, and just make sure that they're actually getting your messages. Let me see.
There was a question about non-responders too. I had a ton of those.
Yeah,
You're inviting so many people a day. So I had a lot of people that didn't even respond to my first one, my first initial, like, hey, do you want to see the details? For those people, I've given them a weekly sweep of all the people that didn't even respond to my initial one. And I'll say, hey, this group is starting soon. I don't want you to miss out. Did you get my last message? You know, I want to, sometimes Facebook's weird like that. You don't see it. I just want to make sure you got my message. And a lot of people would just say, oh, I totally forgot to respond. You know, you still have some people that just don't respond at all. But as far as those non-responders, that's how I responded to them. And what about you, Jen?
Yep, that's basically what I've been doing. Non-responders, there's lots of people that, like, you know how it shows if they've seen it? Oh my gosh, I have a ton that they don't even see it. So they aren't ever going, I mean, they're just either ignoring me or something, which is fine because I don't remember who the coach was, but he said, oh, who was that?
Jimmy, was it, are you going to say Jimmy? No, yeah, Coach Jimmy. He's like, get them off your list.
Yeah, take them off your sexy list. And I was like, I don't know why I call it sexy, but yeah, so I just take them off that list and, you know, I just move forward. And, you know, you're supposed to be adding new coaches, you know, anyways, and requesting friends, you know, with your power of threes, if you guys practice that. I try to friend request at least a few people a day. And if people are not taking my friend request, like I track that too. And within a week, if they have not taken my friend request, I go back in and I delete that off. Like I cancel it. But when I first started this cold invite, I'm going to tell you, I was in a cold sweat, thought I was going to throw up. It was horrible because it's totally out of my comfort zone. And I sent out 20. Then I got up and walked away. Like I would not look because they were popping up and I was like, oh my God, they're all going to say, leave me alone, you psycho. And so I didn't look at them. I like just sent them, walked away, and I came back and there were people asking for information. So I'm like, I'm going to send like 20 more. You know, I thought I was like on a roll there. And then we went to Arizona. So for the 3 days before we went, I had 12 points, I think, when I was already there within just a couple days. So it happened really, really fast with that. And then my team started catching on and the points were really rolling in for them. And I was shocked. I mean, when I counted it out and there's 24 new coaches to our team, that was awesome. And, you know, who knows? They could be business builders. They could be, you know, just discount. And that's fine too. But, you know, it depends on what people are looking for. If they're going to try to hold rank or what they're going to do. What's the best way to keep track of friend requests? I literally am pen and paper. I write everything down. I know people are techie and like, you know, like I said, they like to use their computer. I'm not, I don't know. I have to see it physically in front of me and I remember better if I write things down.
Well, and you can also go in, like when you send friend requests, like on Facebook, you can go in and see all the requests that are pending as well in list form, and you can be able to see, okay, yeah, I want to undo that request. So for those of you that are trying to figure that out, that's another way to at least go in and see who you have requested to be friends with that hasn't answered you. And sometimes it's hard to keep up where they came from. Like, why did you friend request that person? Was it from a certain post or was it this reason or that reason? So having some kind of a system where you note that is very helpful, so that you can kind of figure out, okay, who was that person? I don't remember this name at all because we see so many names all the time. So you really need to find a system so you can keep track of, was that a coach opportunity prospect or was that a, you know, challenge group prospect or whatever, and which post did they respond to or whatever it is, to try to keep that kind of in line.
In the way I track with my
Sorry. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out who that is.
That's me, sorry.
Oh, Amy, mute. There we go. Okay, we're good.
Okay. I'm a pen and paper person once again. And when I friend request them, I actually have a note spot, or source, I call it. So if it came from my profile page or from my like page, and then I write down a note of why I was friend requesting them. Maybe they liked my page. I'm kind of using what Sarah taught us down there, where she friend requested, and then she said, thank you for liking my page. I actually took those people and I'm doing the cold script with them. But I made, thank you for liking my page. And then I kind of tweaked it so that it just kind of smoothly rolls into almost like what she was saying. Versus putting them in a group, I'm offering them to read about it. So, that I really like that. So, and it's working. So, and people are, contacting me and talking to me about other things. Some people like my page because I talk about adoption or PCOS or that kind of stuff. So I have to try to, figure out what posts that they were following. It's kind of tricky because I don't want to push them away if they're interested more because I adopted or something like that. So I'm kind of picky on who I friend request from my like page. Heather, do you want to do your thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm doing the same thing. So I might be reiterating some of the stuff that Jen's already talked about. When I first saw this invite script, it was actually during a live power hour in my region, and I was petrified. I saw that they were just going through and doing all these cold invites, and, you always hear don't cold invite all the time. You hear don't do that. You want to forum with them and all that. And so I was really nervous to do it. One of the girls, one of the coaches that was using it said, this isn't a cold invite. It might be a cold invite, but it's your lukewarm market. And I thought that was awesome because you're using your friends list. These people are on your friends list for a reason. You've connected with them one way or another. They're either your like page, they liked your like page and you friend requested them, or you've added them for a reason, or they've added you. So, consider them your friend. You know them now. Like you'd sit down and have coffee with them. They're your lukewarm market. The thing I like about this script is that you are putting the opportunity in front of the conversation. So what I was having a problem with before was that I was having a ton of conversations and they were going absolutely nowhere. I knew everything about these people's life history, but I didn't know how to bridge that gap between their life and what I knew about them and that relationship and inviting them to something. It kind of just would end. And so this put that in front. And I mean, everything that Jen's doing, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I track a little bit differently. I use Google Sheets. But when I actually sit down to do actually do like my power hour, I go in earlier in the day. I sit down and I write down 20 names off my contact list that I've moved over to Google Sheets. It's all in alphabetical order. I go down it and I just write 20 names down on a sheet of paper. The one I have going right now is actually for my like page because I had a bunch of new likers and I friend requested them all. I wrote their names down, and then as soon as they accepted my friend request, I said, hey, just like Jen, hey, thank you for liking my page, yada, 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 and I take part of the script and invite them immediately to my upcoming challenge group. So I write their name down on a piece of paper. I go back into my sheets and just edit it like once a week, which is a long thing to do, but that just works for me. So I do a little bit of both for tracking. I do paper, but I ultimately track on Google Sheets, and it's color-coded like Jen's. Pretty similar. I just color code their name. I have notes and all that stuff. But where was I going? There was a question and it reminded me of something, and then I totally lost the thought. But I'm doing the same. We're just doing the same thing. In order to get to the points that I got, end of the month with 22 points, and it was all but 2 points were from the invite script, and it was just 20 people a day, 5 days a week, inviting and moving along. Like sending the invite, if they responded, they responded. If they didn't, I just moved on. I mean, Coach Jimmy had said, you make a list of the people you're inviting to. You want them to get off your list. They're either a yes or a no. You're not going to go back and forth forever. Like you can form with them as you're talking to them after you've invited them, but get them off your list. Have them there and invite them, and then the yes list and the no list. So that was my main focus, was just quickly moving through the process, inviting them, getting a yes or no. If they said yes, getting them the details, and then following up. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person, and it's totally true. The people who purchased from me in February were people that have been my friends forever on Facebook, and I have never even thought, because I went alphabetically, I came across so many people that I just didn't even think to invite. Like, you have a reason in your head why they're not going to order, and you don't invite them. So don't do that. If you're doing like what I was doing, just stop, because you hear it all the time, but really until you stop doing it, you don't get anywhere. So, I mean, they were just all people that I've prejudged for one reason or another. I haven't talked to them in years or whatever. And it just totally blew my mind that it worked. So try it. What were there was some other things going on in the chat, but I can't see it because I'm on my phone. I didn't know if there's any other questions I could help with. Disregard mine. How do you know if they are a coach or not? Okay. When you start messaging your friends list, I have more coaches. So when I make my list of 20 for that day, that's the part for me that takes the longest time. The inviting is really quick. I can get about 20 invites out in about 10 minutes once I know who I'm inviting. So I make a quick list of like 20 people. I quickly check their page and scroll through and just make sure they're not a coach, because usually it'll say something on their Facebook page. If it doesn't, then I invite them and they might tell me, hey, I'm a coach. Like, you got the wrong person. And if that's the case, I get them off my list. But I do a little bit of I prejudge in that sense, where I go to their page, I kind of poke around real quick for go through 20 people, make sure there's nothing crazy going on in their lives. Nothing is worse than messaging somebody, inviting them to like a fitness boot camp when their cat just died, or whatever. It's awful, and I've done it, and it sucks. Don't do that. So I prejudge a little bit, but if it all looks good and there's just regular stuff going on their page, they don't look like they're a coach, they don't look like their life is, they're going through some crazy loss or what have you, then I invite them. So I just make that list, poke around on their page, and then I sit down. And what I do, because I'm like Jen, like I was sending the messages and then just closing my screen because I was like, I can't respond to them right now. And it's a lot of people really fast, and then all of a sudden you've got like 10 messages in your inbox. So I go through and I take the 20 names and I open 20. This is kind of crazy. I'm a little unorganized, but I open up 20 message boxes. So I take every name and I open up 20 of them, and I have each 20 people's message box on my screen, which is a little crazy. And then I literally just copy and paste and go send, and then I shut it, because then I'm like, oh, I'm afraid what's going to happen, which has always been good. Being afraid is apparently a good thing. So that's just what I do. Pretty similar to her. I track a little bit differently, but I still use pen and paper and online, Google Sheets, and track them. And if they say no, I don't go back and forth with them right now. I'll go back to them next time and invite them. I might ask them, okay, that's fine. I do these monthly. Can I check back with you in a month when it's a better time for you? They usually say yes. But I'm not doing objections right now because I've got a whole lot of friends on my friends list that I can reach out to. If you're adding that to them every day, then you've got a lot more people to reach out to. And then you can, start going back to the other people and really talking to them about what's going on.
There's a question here. Susan, did you have Shakeology or other price objections? Yes. I actually had one from a girl right when I first started. So of course I started to sweat and, get panicky because she right away said, Shakeology is way too expensive, all this stuff. And I sat there for a second. I'm like, what am I going to say? Because I did the same thing. It took me 6 months to even think about ordering anything, because I was like, oh, I ain't paying for some shake, I can go buy Slim Fast. My brain kept telling me that. And no matter what the person said to me, like I've said, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person and the right thing to the wrong person. So all the things a person was saying to me wasn't jiving with me. So I sat back for a second and I'm thinking, okay, I went to high school with this girl. I haven't seen her in like a bajillion years. And this was like a weird, out of the blue, cold invite. So I sat for a second and I'm like, oh my God, one of her friends from high school, I know they were friends, is actually one of my challengers already. And so I asked her, I'm like, have you been back home in a while? And she's like, well, I was in December. And I said, have you seen Crystal? And she's like, yeah, she looks freaking amazing. And I said, really? She's doing 21 Day Fix and Shakeology. And she's like, you're kidding me. I was like, no. And I said, message her. She'll tell you. And so then all of a sudden she went quiet for a little while. And I'm like, oh, she's totally messaging her. And Crystal actually messaged me at the same time. She's like, girl, you trying to make sales off me? And I said, well, actually she did, she just needs to know proof of someone else. You know, I mean, she sees me, but someone that she just recently saw. And the person that kept telling me that, I mean, she had a list of reasons why she couldn't order. And as soon as she talked to Crystal, she said, let me go grab my credit card. I mean, it was, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Just that, I mean, I keep forgetting that you can use personal examples for people. And I bounce around to different programs. So it's really hard for me to show like a current, you know, result for me. So I use a lot of my team. And if somebody knows, you know, someone too, my friends list that I am sending to is literally people I don't talk to. I have used up my warm market, and, you know, that, like Heather said too, with the whole coaching part of it, if you message a coach, just apologize. Just say, oh, you know, I'm sorry. But that's why it's important to go look at their page. You know, I always look at pictures, make sure they haven't been at Summit, you know, hanging out with Tony or something. And, you know, I mean, there's lots of people I have messaged and they say, oh, actually, I'm a coach. And I just come back with just a nice response of, I'm sorry. You know, usually I do like thorough checking before I send anything. I said, I looked at your page and I didn't, you know, and I looked around and you didn't seem like you were coaching, but you're into fitness or you're talking about going on a vacation. And they said, oh yeah, I'm not really working the business. So they weren't upset. You know, I've only had one coach. It was a lovely experience. She came back. Oh God, I'm not even going to tell you who it is because y'all know who I'm sure a lot of you that have been at a Summit know who she is. Anyway, so she spoke at Summit on stage, and her Facebook page does not show that she's the coach, but her like page does. I did not look for that. And so when I messaged her, she came back with a very, very snotty remark. And she said, I'm going to use this as the perfect example for my team of what not to do. And I was like, oh, wow, aren't you a friendly little kitty? And so I just, you know, I just don't treat people that way. And I think at the time her success was going a little bit to her head. And so I just kind of was like, I'm sorry, you know, I apologize. I guess I didn't see, you know, I just swallowed my pride, and rather than get catty myself. So you just have to be careful of how you respond, because your reaction to someone else is going to reveal who what your motive is. You know, if you're really wanting to help people and they say no, or they come back, well, don't bother me with your, I had one coach tell me, they had someone say something about not to be bothering them with your pyramid scheme and blah, 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 and your MLM. And then I just respond back with, I'm sorry, you know, I just really love what I do. It's really changed my life, and I can't help but invite everybody, and just leave it at that. And if they want to delete you and block you, okay, bye, Felicia. I mean, it's fine. I don't take that stuff personally anymore. It used to sting. I mean, I've had family delete me. Family. That makes for an odd Christmas and Thanksgiving, let me tell you. They come back around, though. I think a lot of it is people, if they say no, that's fine. You just have to let that go. When I tell my team to remove the emotion, I'm not saying, I don't want you sitting back there going, what kind of money am I going to make this week? No, I want you to remove the emotion of, I'm afraid to invite this person. Oh, they're going to say no. They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to be like, oh God, here's this fitness psycho coming after me, and she wants me to drink some fancy shake. No, you have to just shut that part off and think of it like a business. You are inviting people to come to, you know, shop at Coach Jen, shop at Coach Heather. I mean, you want them to come to you. You want them to choose you as their coach. So you're inviting them. And you're not chasing them. You're not sitting outside their house, sitting at their front step waiting for them to order from you. It's on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. And there's so many people out there that are doing other businesses, and they're throwing me inside of a group without asking me. They're sending me invites when, I mean, hello, I'm a Beachbody coach. I'm not gonna, you know, put a wrap on my stomach. I just stop inviting me. Like, that's not my thing. And I'm always kind back to them, but you just have to remember you're inviting someone to an opportunity. If it changes their life, awesome. if they, they come back and they're upset that you message them, maybe there's something going on in their life. Like Heather said, maybe their cat just died. I mean, you don't know why they're responding the way they do. And I would prefer someone to ignore me than come back with something really snarky, because then it just hurts my feelings and it's just not necessary. And so those people that ignore me, and there's even people, like I said, my family that ignores me, and friends that I hang out with ignore my messages. And so of course I can razz them when I see them, but I try not to take that stuff personal anymore, because the people that want to join me or want to do a fitness challenge, they'll do it. You can't, like Heather said, you can't sit there and worry about every single person, and you can't prejudge anyone. Let's go through here. Does anybody do this with Instagram? Heather, have you?
No, I'm awful with Instagram. I built up my Instagram and I don't use it. I used it for like a few months, and then
I did too, and I don't understand it. It confuses me.
I know. I will now. You can connect your Facebook stuff to your Instagram or something. I would try. You can. I don't know. I would do something. Maybe just try something where like they like it or whatever, and then I think you can initiate like a message with them, can't you? And maybe invite them that way, and then move it over to email or
Yeah, you could.
Facebook or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I remember about Instagram. I don't know if this has changed, but when I used Instagram, I couldn't see like who I was messaging. Like I could see the message once I opened it, but it wasn't like organized.
They have a list now in the direct messages where it has the name and the message,
Okay, well that's good, because when I used to click it would be like, I was like, I don't even remember who this came from or where we left off. Well, that's good. So that's changed. But I would try to move it over to email and go that way. I only use most of my conversations this month have gone through email, with my just quick follow-ups being through Facebook. But most of the people I emailed followed up with me in email, so I worked mostly that way. And then I just kind of nudged them in Facebook if they weren't responding. So,
Heather, how many do you send a day?
I send 20 invites a day, 5 days a week. I generally invite Sunday night through Thursday night, and if I'm home on Friday night, my business hours are like 8 o'clock at night till midnight or 1 in the morning, because my precious little ADHD daughter doesn't sleep or anything. She's kind of crazy. So I work really, really late at night, and I just 5 nights a week at least, and 20 invites a night.
I'm kind of hit and miss. Because I do mommy helper a lot with Liam's class, and then it seems like everything else has to be jam-packed in before my kids come home. And I shut off between 4 and 8. I spend time with my family. So what I can get done, when I can get it done, I try to do 20 a day. But if I miss out on a day, I will double up the next day. And I know Facebook has let me do 40 messages without, stopping me. So, but I try to do at least 20 a day, and I don't work on the weekends. Sundays are my family and church day. And so I do not work at all on Sundays.
And Sunday for me is actually one of my best days. It's so funny but it's at night. I'm at night. And for some reason, a lot of the people I contact Sunday nights are like, when I use Sunday night that's why I don't really do Friday night, because usually I wasn't getting very much response.
Yep. I don't do Friday.
So Sunday night has been huge for me. I wanted to add quickly, like I know we're getting close. This February was my most successful month for sure. And I've been coaching. February was actually it was 14 months since I started coaching, but 12 months since I actively coached, or whatever you want to call it. I was a discount coach. February was most successful, but I worked the least amount of hours. My husband is currently deployed, but it was so easy to just sit down and not have to think about, what am I going to say to this person? Who am I going to invite today? Because I knew I had that contact list, and I just went down it and went boom, 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 20 people. I didn't have to think about much other than that quick. Like I said, it was 2 parts for me. In the daytime, I would go through and just make the list and double check it on Facebook. And then at night, I'd go, okay, this is my list. Like, here we go. Sit down, 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes to send out 20 invites, because I had already kind of poked around in their page a little bit which that part took me maybe 20 minutes. I mean, 20 people, a minute on each page, just poking around, not even. And it's just, it was crazy. I worked maybe an hour a day through February because I didn't have any other time. It was if my daughter slept, which, I mean, she's sleeping right now about 5 hours a day. So, I mean, that's it. I didn't have time. I didn't. So it was very organized. You have to have that way to track it. If you don't have some sort, even if it's paper or pen or computer, like you need to have something. But it was 20 people. And before, you know, they give you the power of threes, and the power of three is great if you want to hit successful 5. But if you want to hit more than that, you got to be inviting more than 3 people a day.
Yeah.
I think I probably invited close to 200 people in February, and I have 16 points. But I had 4 that were right before February. So I had 20 points from that. So you have to invite a lot of people. And if you're telling me you're only inviting a couple people and you're really depressed, you got to invite more people. You got to get out of your shell. You got to just send them and like I said, remove that emotion. Remove the emotion of fear, and it will pay off. I know Brandy just asked a question here. Let's see. Oh, she doesn't understand the part where it says in the status. Okay, I take that part out where it says, I saw your beautiful face under my status.
I take that out too. That's kind of why it's in red. I don't use that.
Like a creeper.
Oh, and one last thing. That script is the one we shared, the link. Sorry, I feel like I'm like this. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. If you are using that, the actual file that is posted in the group is owned, that document is owned by Megan Yelani. She is the one who I got it from. As she updates it, it is automatically updating it in that file. So you're always going to see what she's doing, like as she's changing it. So in February, it was talking about Valentine's Day and Super Bowl, and it was already there. Like, and she's using that and updating it. You can change it and make your own. But you know, if you're like me, where I'm like, I only have an hour, I'm just copying and pasting. I read it over and make sure it's not too crazy. Like it was stuck at Super Bowl for like a week, and I was like, oh, that kind of came and went. So I took that out. But it's her document. She's updating it, and which I think is awesome, because for someone who doesn't have the time to compile a huge document where I'm like in all this back and forth, it's there. It's already there.
Well, and what I did is like I have her copy, and then I make the duplicate as my own with my own, like it says Christy's copy, and then I adjust it how I want to. Like I started doing this week just to try to test it out, but I'm focusing on 22 hardcore, so I changed the information a little bit.
Can you send me? Because I was just reaching out to my region about, I want to do a group for that. And I was like hoping that I would find somebody, and so far reaching out.
Yeah, no, I totally will. And I mean, they're right, y'all. Just FYI, I mean, I sent it to probably 11 people yesterday morning, and I've already sent 6 emails. People said, yes, I want more information. Here's my email address. So I'm in the very beginning stages of this, but it is totally, I can see how the potential and the possibility is totally there. Because it does open up conversations with people that you haven't been talking to, and they will tell you when you say, what are your goals? Like that's in the script. You're asking them things about them as you're sending them information. So I just think you need to throw caution to the wind and give this a go, because it's good stuff.
Jen Thatcher has a question.
Some of you seasoned coaches, I don't know if Melissa's still on the call or not, but I know everyone talks about hiring coaches versus challengers, but I'm so conflicted in how I feel about that, because not everyone is going to be a good challenger or a good coach. So my fear is that, say I hire 10 coaches that are going to be discount coaches, and what happens if 9 of them go for 21 days and they're all like, forget this, I'm done. Now I've got 9 inactive coaches and I missed out on the commission from all that. So I keep going back and forth on how I feel about hiring all coaches versus hiring.
Well, you still get a commission when you hire, when a coach signs up with a challenge pack.
Yeah, but like that was a bad example. Like, what if they only stay on for like 2 months or 3 months? Because I have a particular coach on my team that only hired coaches as challengers, and however many 3-4 months later, out of 10 people that they hired, 9 of them are all inactive, and it's like, well, there's your entire team.
Well, here's what I think. That's why you have to constantly keep trying to fill the pipeline. So like when you get those 8 or 9 or 10, that doesn't mean you stop and you sit back on your laurels for the next 6 months and you just hope for the best. Like you have to continue, and you're going to have a mixed bag of people. I mean, you're not every single person is going to sign up as a discount coach,
Right.
even if they're not wanting to work the business, which is kind of mind-boggling because, well, who doesn't want to save money? But there are people out there that just don't want to deal with the hassle of it. But I really think that is why you just have to, you can't sit back and put your feet up. Like you just have to keep the oil in the wheel and keep finding new people to add to your team every month, because you're going to have people sign up who go, yeah, okay, that was great and all, but I'm done. Like I'm gonna quit. And so I know it's a gamble. You don't know people who say I don't want to work the business could end up being your very best coach. And then people who say, yeah, I'm ready to kill it, can end up doing absolutely nothing. And so there is no guarantee of how anyone's going to be. And that's why you don't prejudge them on the front end. I mean, you can say, man, she's going to be my best coach ever. Maybe. Or this girl's never going to do a thing. Maybe. I mean, you just don't know how people are going to be moved to do or not to do. So I just think that the best advice is just to not sit and have those people in your little basket and put all your eggs in that basket, hoping that that's going to turn into fruition for you. You've got to keep putting new blood in the system.
I signed up as a discount coach. I was adamant that I was not ever going to coach. I wanted the discount. My husband's in the military. We got that coach fee waived, and I wanted just to be a discount coach. 2 months later, I didn't want to be a discount coach anymore. And I mean, I'm not rolling in the dough at the moment, but I'm not working my job either. So, I don't know. I'm in the same, and I've actually built my business has been mostly built on discount coaches, but I changed it a little bit, and I sent Sarah's new coach email where she asked them 1, 2, and 3. And I had one of the girls that from this month come back and she was just going to be a discount coach originally. And when I sent her the new coach email, I gave her the option 1, 2, or 3. Do you want to be a discount coach, a hobby coach, or a business builder? And then we started talking, and she was like, I kind of want to quit my job at the bank, and I think I could do this. And she wanted to, be in the team page, and so she's interested. She kind of has one foot in the water, but like I wouldn't have even signed her at all had it not been for the script and giving her the opportunity. So I can see both sides but I think
it's just a mindset that I have to change, because the way that I have been doing it is I pick people that I want to work with, and then anyone who is continuing on month 2, I'll always ask them to be a discount coach.
Yeah.
But never on the first shot. Maybe I need to just switch my mind. Okay.
I think by asking them too up front, and like let them sign up, and then asking them what is your intention, and then you're not putting your eggs in that basket. Let them, that it can come down the road. So you're not really building your business on weak legs like that. Like, there's no foundation within them yet.
Well, and there's power in putting them on your team page. Like I put every coach I sign up, whether they tell me they're a discount coach or a business builder or anything in between, they get put on my team page. Mm-hmm. So they can see activity, and they can see what's going on and the different things that the team is doing. And that at least exposes them, so that if they aren't thinking about coaching, maybe something that happens will eventually spark an interest where they want to. Mm-hmm. So I think that I tell them, look, I know you're telling me you don't want to work this business, but all the coaches on my team are part of the family. You will get a welcome letter. You will be added to the team page, because you're part of this family, no matter where you fit in the quote coaching realm. So that's kind of what I do.
And sorry, my phone's about to die. I'm about to plug it in. Coach Jimmy in that 3-hour training, he had said, even if you're adding in these discount coaches and it sparks an interest in them, like the people who are going to, who want to work are going to work. The people who don't want to work are going to just dismiss themselves. And it's like, don't put your time and energy in the people that are not doing it or whatever. Reach out to them, but give them the opportunity and let them decide. Ask them and then go from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Is there anybody, any other questions? Anything else anybody has?
I think there was a question down below, but I can't get to it.
Let's see.
Is the new coach email part of the script? No, it's not. But we can share. Like I can share what I'm not in. I don't know who asked it, but
Well, Angela's on my team, and we can totally share that we can all make sure that everybody has an example of what that is. So, totally, that's easy.
So,
Yeah.
do you send the cold?
And Heather, I have the one that you sent me, right? I just tweaked it to my code or to my team.
Yeah,
Right,
I
is
tweaked
that the one
mine
you're talking
again a little bit, but I can send it again. Whatever I have, I just redid it again the other day a little bit, but
Stop changing it.
I'm ever evolving. If a friending someone from your like page, do you send the cold invite? I don't know if that was answered, but I wait until they accept my friend request. But now that it's changed to where it's a message request, I might not do that. I might just send it because I get message requests from people that I don't know and I talk to them. So I might just send it anyways, the invite. Does that make sense?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's no other box anymore. Now it just says message request, so you don't have to wait for them to accept it to receive your message. So I think I'll probably just start inviting them right off the bat after they like my page. I've got a lot of people I got to follow up with. And that's the thing, like if you're starting to run out of your friends list, you need to start adding to it fast. Like if you're inviting 20 people a day, and you only have 300 people on your friends list, you need to start adding people.
Yeah, I mean, I went through and I have like 1,900 friends, and I can tell you there are a lot of Beachbody coaches. So, I mean, I've had to, and I feel bad because I'm not sure. I mean, I know you can have 5,000 friends. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I get there, but I get a little bit nervous, taking all kinds of friend requests because then all their stuff keeps showing up in my news feed. So I'm, I try to have to hide them after I become friends with them. And it's not to be mean. It's just, I want to be able to see people, like other people on my friends, my news feed. Do you message request on your phone?
I think,
yeah, you can do that. Yeah. I mean, it's all the same. Yeah, I just friend request all the time. Like I just make sure I keep track of who I'm friend requesting. I know that if on your phone, if you go into like on your phone app, I don't know if you have the Apple phone or Android. I don't know if it looks different on an Android, but I have an Apple phone. And when I go into the app, if I click on the little more, like there's like 3 little bars next to it. And if I click more, there's a little spot that has friends. And if I click on that, it'll show suggestion, search, requests that people have sent to me, contacts, friends, and then outgoing. And I always check my outgoing. And that's where I can delete right from there. So
Jen, on your phone, can you see message requests like where an other box would be? I'm using my phone right now to Zoom, so I can't check my phone.
You can't. Okay, I don't think you can see it. You can't check it from here, but what happens on my phone, if someone messages me like a friend request, it'll come through like right above, I can't even see this, but okay.
Oh, there
so like between here is where it'll come up. It'll say like, if Heather, you and I weren't friends, it would come up there and it would say, it'd be like, it's a different color and it just says friend request or message request.
Okay,
and if
so
I go
you
into
can
it, it'll
get
show
message
up,
requests from your phone.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. I've had a couple of them from people from like the big SIGI groups and stuff that send me messages, and it'll show up on there because I'm not friends with them. So yeah, it will pop up.
Awesome. I think we've gone. Where are we? Oh gosh, we're like over time. Is there any last questions before we hop off? How do you see this?
Anyone else? Let's see.
I can only see my list of people who like my page from my phone
Yeah.
under, I think it's either activity or insights. So I go on that and it shows me, if I haven't checked it, they'll all be kind of in like a bluish gray. The new people will be in they won't be in white. They'll be like in bluish gray, their name. And I jot them down. That's what this list is right here. The last time I sat down 2 nights ago and I had 167 new likes. It's gone up a lot. I am so behind, like 300 people to follow up with. I write them down on a piece of paper and then I just start going through it and friend requesting those people and messaging them the invite.
Do your booster page is
There is a on.
do what?
No, that's a naughty one.
Yeah, we
no,
don't
I'm sorry.
boost.
I didn't know.
But you
Yeah,
do
we
run
don't
ads.
boost.
You can run ads. YouTube dark posting. You can run ads that way. And they're way more targeted and beneficial.
Yep. Which is
And if you haven't heard of Jesse, I mean, I'm doing a little shameless plug, but we've been taking a social media training through Jesse Reagan. He's got one coming up in April. Awesome training. So utilize it. If you can get into one of those, for sure, do it.
absolutely. All right.
I wanted to tell you really quick, on your like page, if you want to see who's liked your page, I know Heather said she can only check from her phone,
I
but
might
you
be able
can,
to for my thing now, but I don't know.
okay, you can check from on your computer when you're in your like page. Again, there's the, you just go to your home page or whatever, and it'll show like everything you would see as a customer.
Oh, notifications?
No, it is under, no, I'm just going to keep telling you.
Shut
no.
up, Heather.
Up at the top will be settings, and then they'll say help. So you click settings, and then it'll come up and it'll say over to your left, you're going to go people and other pages. So you click that and it's going to show every person who has ever liked your page, or you can change it to pages that the people on this page like.
Oh, cool.
So you
Oh
can
my gosh, I didn't even know that. That is so cool.
And you're
It
welcome.
tells you how long ago they liked your page.
I know. And the bill will be in the mail.
Do you take cash or credit?
That's awesome.
I take chickens.
So real quick, just as a repeat, because Dora just asked, when you go to your like page and you're on the main page,
Sorry.
at the top right, it says settings. You click on settings, and then you go to people and other pages in the left-hand column. And then it will show the list of people who like your page and how long ago they liked it. I didn't know that either. That's awesome to know. I thought it was only from my phone, so I'm super excited to learn that. That's fantastic. All right, y'all, I know we've been on here for about an hour. I want to just take a really quick second and thank Jen and Heather so much for your time. This is awesome stuff. Very helpful. It's cool to see how it came to fruition for y'all and what a success that you had in February. And so if anybody has additional questions, post on your team pages wherever you are, because I know we have a couple different teams on here. We will make sure that y'all get answers. That's part of this process, right? We want to make sure everybody's informed and feels good about what they're doing. But the bottom line is, and what I will leave you with, is throw fear away. Just forget about the fear and just do it. It gets easier every single time. And if we succumb to our fears, we're not going to achieve the things we want. So be better than your fear, bigger than your fear, and roll with it and just see where the cards fall. And I really appreciate everybody for being on here. And Jen and Heather, thanks again so much for y'all's time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
All right, y'all have a good night.